Welcome to the Bloody Aussie Battler with your host, Mike Holt. Well, here we are again, and I've got Glen with me again. How are you, mate?
I'm bloody good, mate. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. I'm wearing my Christmas shirt today, so nice little gift. Anyway, I got this one out of the box, and I think that's what we're going to talk about today, isn't it? Getting out of the box. And a lot of people are in the box. So what does that mean to you, Glen, and how do we explain this to people so that they understand where we can stand in common law out of the normal box? Well, it's not really normal, is it?
Well, from the inside of the box, I think people think it's normal. So, yeah, just a little bit of a brainstorm idea that I've had discussions with many friends over time, including yourself. We've chatted about these things and realising that the paradigm, to use that word, is that the paradigm is like, for those who don't know what a word paradigm means, it's like a box. So that means that there's a certain amount of thinking that could be called the box or a paradigm, and that's inside that box, and everything revolves and goes inside that box. And then there's that phrase that people say, oh, we'll think outside the box. So we're going to sort of unpack that concept a little bit more. And with the topic of common law. So let's use common law, and we'll use that concept, you know, as a content to carry our conversation through, discussing unpacking the paradigm of the box thinking. This is a DuckDuckGo search engine inside the Brave browser. For anyone who wants a bit of security, Brave browser is a really good no tracking browser, and it doesn't track you for looking at things. And also, to double up on that, you can use the DuckDuckGo search engine, and I use that as my default search engine. So when I want to search for something, so what I did, just typed in common law and case law, because I recognise that there is a number of legal eagles out there that capture the word common law and use it. I believe they're trying to capture it and keep it inside the box thinking.
Well, I think what the problem there is, mate, that the lawyers are taught a certain way, and they believe that common law is based on case law, and we know that that's not true. So we're going to talk about that today. But we also have to understand that our original common law is based on English common law, which has been around for centuries, and well before the Magna Carta, in fact. And the Magna Carta is based in common law, as is our Constitution. And when the political parties started to destroy our constitutional government and bring in their own Admiralty law type government, they also created their own Australian common law, which is nothing. It doesn't really exist because, as I said, common law is based on centuries of common law experience in the United Kingdom, which we then brought over to Australia. So when they start talking, especially the lawyers, when they start talking about common law, Australian common law, they're talking about case law that's got nothing to do with our basic common law, which is the law of man, the law of the universe, the law of God, call it what you like, it's natural law.
Yeah, natural law, the law of the land, the law of living beings.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why I just wanted to bring that up to contrast why I think the words common law have been hijacked by the lawyers to keep it inside the box, essentially inside their control, inside their domain, inside the Admiralty law system. But having made that statement, I've grabbed a few other pictures here. How does that show up? This is to contrast the inside the box thinking. You know, I think inside the box because it's bigger, and well, when you're using the TARDIS from Doctor Who, it's certainly pretty big in there. The whole universe goes in there. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that inside yet. And there's this other one here, think inside the box. Yeah, that's really good. I thought that was a good little thing. Okay, but what we're doing is we're doing this. We are considering the frame of a box essentially as being the boundaries of a paradigm. So you're talking about your edges of your paradigm are like to imagine the box being the paradigm. So everything that's on inside of that is what's known as a paradigm. And then you can do a paradigm shift, which means to shift into probably another box in most cases, or what we're going to be talking about too. So 6 ways of thinking outside the box. So here's an example of what's inside the box: the society, status quo, media and all that. 6 ways of thinking. And I like this one too. This is another one I found on a bit of a search. Don't think inside the box. Think like there is no box. Aha, that's good.
That's a good analogy, because in common law, when you free yourself from thinking inside the box, you actually free yourself from any type of box and you become a living, thinking individual person with no boundaries.
Yeah.
Apart from the obvious boundaries of living in a society. But really, when you free yourself like this, it really is liberating. And it took me a long, long time to reach that. But I believe that I've reached that now. I suppose if you were comparing it to Buddha, I have reached nirvana.
Nirvana.
I think.
Yes. Yeah, that's good, Mike. That's good, Mike. It is like it's a shift in not only perspective, but it's a shift in beingness. And while this is still talking about thinking inside the box, or think like there is no box, my phrase of that, or what I often make a joke out of it, if you're inside the box and you're thinking outside the box, you're still inside the box, living inside the box, because your thinking's outside the box. So Tim Ferriss came up with a nice statement. I thought he must have been listening to me one day, because it isn't enough to think outside the box. Thinking is passive. Get used to acting outside the box. And acting in that sense is what I say often, is to be outside the box, live outside the box. And a living man on the land, and women, of course, children, we living beings on the land are outside the box and looking back at all the controls and the systems and being told what to do, and acts and statutes and rules and all those sort of things, right?
Yeah, look, I come across this quite often with people, because a lot of people don't realise, for instance, one way of thinking outside the box is to start thinking as a free common law man or woman. But a lot of people come to me with their problems that they're having with the Admiralty law system, which of course is inside their box. And I have to explain to them that I can't help them with that. First of all, I'm not a lawyer. And secondly, I don't fight the system. I think outside and on my own, and I don't need a system. So, it's a bit hard for people to get that at first, but once they do, as I said, it's really liberating.
Yeah. I agree. It's understanding or knowing, once you know that you're living outside the box and the box is over there, or the rules are over there, they're away from you, then you're not attaching yourself to them. And it's a different way of being. We have a Admiralty overlay on the land, and that's how they control us. They'll control us through our capital name. They'll control us through our Sedicay Trust, and they control us through those paradigms that then connect us back into the box again immediately. And people think that they are the legal name. You hold up your license and it's got an all capitals name on it, and you hand it to someone and say, "Is this you?" Well, I would say, no, it's a piece of plastic. But for a lot of people, they say, yes, that is me. That's the picture of me, and that's me. And of course, then they've got themselves in. Thank you very much.
They've contracted. Once you say that that's me, yes, that's a contract with the person who is asking you, usually a policeman. Yeah. So we've really got to stop and think very carefully now. And this all comes back to the straw man that they have created. So, the straw man is the entity, the all caps name entity, I guess you could call it, because it's not just that, it's a lot more.
And now, a word from our sponsor, who helps keep these podcasts going.
Dick Yardley's book, Australian Political and Religious Leaders, Treason, Treachery and Sabotage. Dick exposes how Whitlam, Hawke, Keating, Goss, Rudd and all the other Fabians have destroyed our manufacturing and agriculture. If you want to know exactly how they have done it, get Dick's book at advanceaustralia.com.au and click on merchandise. Knowledge is power. Get the power to fight the corruption today.
This is hg.case law. And so you look down here and see how they've combined case law and common law in the same heading. This is what they're doing as a way of aiming to control the phrase of common law that we use. We use common law in a different way, but quite often when you're talking to the legal eagles, they'll be using common law in this, see, as often interchangeably with the term common law. See how they're trying to control it and manipulate it. This is one of the main categories of law: constitutional law, statutory law, regulatory law. Well, all of that is Admiralty law, and case law is a part of that. And all they're trying to do is bring what we know as common law back under their legal eagle wings, under their eagle wings. I got one more, just another one. What was this one? lawhandbooks.sa.gov.au. So that's South Australia, and they are doing a similar thing. So common law, see, known as common law or case law. This is declared by judges. So you have to be very careful about what people are saying in reference to common law. If someone says common law, you say, what do you mean? And then you can extract it out of them. Always ask questions. I think Robert Kiyosaki used to say to us that the person who asks the questions has the control. So you're asking a question of someone and someone says under common law, well, you ask, well, what do you mean by common law? Or are you using case law as common law? Just to figure out if their brain's inside the Admiralty law box.
Yeah, I think to put it in context, while they're talking about the law that has been declared by judges, we're talking about the law that only has two rules: do no harm and take responsibility for your own actions. And now that second part, take responsibility for your own actions, actually embodies a huge amount of possibilities, because if you do something, there are always consequences. And so when we behave and act in any common law system, we have to take into account the consequences of whatever we do. Whereas case law is a decision made by a judge, and that is not the true common law. They call it that, but that's definitely not what you and I refer to as common law.
Yes. In fact, if it's inside the judge system, therefore, as we know that they are corporations and they operate for corporations, we know that they're operating under Admiralty law. And so if they're using Admiralty law on the land, that's their overlay, and they can only entice you into that activity by using your legal name and then you participating in that, or those that did, so if they refer to common law or case laws and saying, oh, well, you can or can't do this, we're saying only if you're inside that jurisdiction. And we do love the topic of jurisdiction, Mike, don't we? Maybe we should have a chat about that sometime.
Well, we will, but I want to relate this to a common law court, because in a court, there is no judge in a common law court, but we have an adjudicator who acts like an umpire, like the umpire in a football game, for instance, keeps the game honest and moving along in the way that it should. And the same thing in a common law court. We have an adjudicator who understands how common law works, may even have some legal background, but not necessarily, and knows how common law, or knows how to explain common law to a jury. Now, who makes the decisions in a common law court? The jury does. And when a judgment is made in a common law court, it can actually change the law. So we need to understand it in those terms. And it's the same thing with case law in their system. When a judge makes a decision, it can actually change a law. So, they overlap somewhat, but the intent is very different. I think that explains it.
Yeah. So what I did was a bit of a box drawing episode for the visual learning people who, like myself, I'm a visual learner. I love to see things, and I get my understandings more by visual learning Of course, I'm a kinesthetic learner and an auditory learner as well, you know, the whole box and dice, but some of us favour a particular way of learning. So just for that, I just drew up a demonstration of a box, and then, so it could be the matrix box.
Okay, so that basically explains what we're talking about here. I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions coming in from people now, because this is actually a fairly new concept for a lot of people to understand. And it's not an easy one. As I said before, it took me a long time to come to these conclusions and comprehend what it's all about. So how else would you describe this, Glenn?
Well, I've just got one more screen to share, and it just puts a few things inside the box.
Okay.
I just for people's references to ask a few questions, perhaps.
And now, a word from our sponsor, who helps keep these podcasts going.
Redpillhosting.com is your one-stop shop to buy your perfect domain name. Then get your own hosting server, or buy our easy-to-use website builder from just $8.99 a month. Yes, you heard that right. Just $8.99. Building your own website can feel like a daunting task. Who wants to deal with code anyway? Website Builder makes it simple to create a modern, professional website with no technical knowledge required. Share your passion online. With redpillhosting.com you get responsive mobile design, professional website hosting, rapid page load performance, secure SSL, 24/7 support, and much more. Do you need a shopping cart to go with that? We have just the right one for you. What sort of server do you need to host your website? We can advise you on the best solution for your needs. Choose Linux, Windows, or VPS hosting. Select what type of back-office management system you need, from cPanel, Plesk, or WordPress hosting. No matter what you need, redpillhosting.com is the place to get it. Visit us at redpillhosting.com whenever you need us.
All right. Hello, Mike. Yeah, so this is the screen that I was sharing. And then I wanted to do a bit of a research on the common law issue and how common law is being hijacked inside the box. And it's not the outside box thinking that we have about common law.
All right, mates, I think that's a good introduction to help people start thinking not only outside the box, but thinking as individuals outside of their system. So from now on, when we talk about thinking outside the box, we're talking about common law. We're talking about thinking as an individual with responsibilities to the community. I think that's the best way to put it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, I would also add to that as an action step for people daily to consider when they catch themselves saying thinking outside the box, just remember where your body is. Your body's still in the box. So imagine yourself being the free person, free being, not the person, because the lowercase person perhaps if you want. But imagine every challenge you get, whether you're inside the box and you try to think outside the box, or start living outside the box on the land as a living being. And that's when you're at that stage, then you're looking back at everything in the box. All the control structures, all the control systems are away from you. When you're inside the box, they're still around you. They're still spatially around you. So you have to disassociate yourself essentially by living outside the box.
Great. All right, mate, thank you. I think that'll certainly spark a few discussions. And if you've got any questions for Glen and I, please put them in the chat box below the video, or you can email me at mikeh@commonlaw.earth. Okay, thank you all very much. See you later, Glen. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
If you're enjoying these podcasts on the bloodyaussiebattler.com, why not become a member to support my work? It's easy. Just click on Join Us and choose the membership level that suits your pocket. focus on the pain. The only thing that's real. The needle tears a hole. The old familiar sting. Trying to kill it all away. But I remember everything. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. You could have it all. My empire of good, I will let you down. I will make you hurt. I wear this crown of thorns upon my liar's chair, full of broken thoughts. I cannot repair beneath the stains of time. The feeling disappears. You are someone else. I am still right here. What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end. You could have it all. My empire of dirt, I will let you down. I will make you hurt. If I could start again, million miles away, I would keep myself. I would find a way. If you're enjoying the Bloody Aussie Battler podcast, please consider donating to help keep us going. You can donate just once or make it a monthly donation. Any amount is welcome. To donate, go to our website at www.thebloodyausiebattler.com and click on Donate.